4, 3. Hello, Earth 616. Welcome to the Chronic Book Club, where we smoke chronic, then talk comics. My name is Al Taylor. Joining me, as always, the only man who is more stoned than Ben Grimm himself, Mike Wood. And guarding the north, the man higher than the century flies, Mr. Chris Jakes.
What up?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
I'm good, man. I finally have enough weed to smoke a doobie with you all, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
Well, that leads me into the next thing, first and foremost, what are we smoking this week?
Woody? Oh, man, I got some Girl Scout glue. So they're like, how many things that have been sued from the companies, how can we put them together? And someone said yes. So we will make the
Yes.
the most suable strain of weed we can make.
How hype boy can we get? It's got to be Blue Dream Girl Scout Cookie Glue Gelato 33. I got some homegrown liter of cola. Feeling like a large farva over here.
Let's say you're not a large farmer, are you?
No, I'm not.
So
but this shit gets me high and makes me that stupid.
Well, there you go.
I just had a large farva.
In the bowl, I've got a Afghani Kush Rainmaker blend, which I absolutely love. And in the pen, I've got the red-headed stepchild of alcohol mimosa. So I'm ready to get high.
You go buy some new weed soon? That's like 3 weeks in a row, dog.
I know, dude. You got to shake it up, man. You got like three dispensaries near you, man. What's going on?
You guys are the peer pressure that fucking Dare warned me about.
Absolutely.
I am the lion.
So, of course, all the comics we are reading this week can be found on, of course, Marvel Unlimited, with over 28,000 new and classic Marvel titles and new releases weekly. Start your 7-day free trial now. And, of course, Comixology. Start building your digital comics library and lose yourself in the world of comics. With over 75,000 comics from DC, Image, Boom, and tons of other publishers, read your comics anytime and anywhere. Both available in the Google Play and the Apple App Store. Now, just a quick recap of what our Chronic Book Club is all about. What we are doing is we're taking a deep look into the comics that make up the movies and TV shows. We know it's a lot to take in, and if you've ever felt like you wanted to read comics but were out of the loop, we're going to clear up a lot of the deep lore and confusing as fuck stuff the Marvel Comics multiverse has managed to pump out over the last 80 or so years. And we're going to do it high as fuck. Why? Because just like lamb and tuna fish or spaghetti and meatball, comics and weed go together perfectly. Except for the intense confusion that comes when you have no idea who this character is or what event I've never heard of before these assholes are referencing. Did I miss something, you may ask yourself? Well, fret not. For if this group of potheads has one superpower, it's over-explaining comic book lore. So, read along with us week by week, and we'll answer all the questions in between the pages and help you figure out what the fuck is going on. So remember, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and please, please, please leave your own thoughts, comments, or different ways we either rule or suck in the comments below. We are, of course, continuing our own take on what the fuck WandaVision could be by reading 2005's Marvel mega event, House of M. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, penciler Olivier Coipel, Tim Townsend, leads a talented team of inkers, and rounding out our A-team is letterer Chris Iliopoulos. Now, last week, we recapped and went over issues 1, 2, and 3. If, of course, you missed those, they're streaming now. Go watch, then catch up. Good? Okay, let's go. This week, we are discussing issues 4, 5, and 6. And right off the bat, we have the familiar cover art of Esad Ryback, and with a variant cover provided by Brandon Peterson. Now, right there, Chronic Book Club and MCU fans, is what a Hawkeye should look like. The backdrop of military force is just very reminiscent of the MCU's Age of Ultron, where Hawkeye says, "The city's flying. We're fighting an army of robots, and I have a bow and arrow." If you're more interested in Hawkeye, back when he was alive, check out the 1984 debut of Avengers by Roger Stern. All right, here we go, guys, into our issue 4. Right off the bat, we have a very functioning Genosha and the man who puts the M in the house of M itself, Magneto. Now, we are accepting the assumptions of previous issues, and it looks like the grandchildren and a family is what Magneto has wanted all along. Now, I don't know if I just read way too much into the art of Coipel, but the creepiness of the eyes with the phrase, "with my mind," is almost dude, it's emotionless, like the dark eyes of Magneto himself. Maybe a little foreshadowing as to, everyone is blind as to what's really going on. A little similar to the zombie-like presence of the Westview residents in WandaVision. I mean, am I stretching it? Let us know in the comments. Meanwhile, I'm trying to stretch it, man.
It's like taffy up in here.
I like how you made Clint Barton a old New Jersey head with too much booze brain.
Dude, I got the booze brain.
I gotta go talk to my cousin in Staten Island.
They call him Eagle Dick.
So, speaking of shitty places to live, we're back in Hell's Kitchen. We have a very universally conscious Wolverine being told by Hawkeye to remove the tracker placed by S.H.I.E.L.D. in the back of Wolverine's neck. Now, remember, in this reality, Wolverine is a team leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. and not being quick enough, Hawkeye removes it for him. Now, a visibly upset Luke Cage and an underground resistance, for that matter, have no clue that Wolverine can't be killed. Now, we'll get into Wolverine a little bit later on in the show, but right now, continuing with our story, Luke Cage upset with Hawkeye for the fact that Luke Cage was looking for answers, and we also learned that 30 seconds is more than enough time for S.H.I.E.L.D. to track anyone. Chris, before we had gone to air, we were talking about the Sentinels here. I love this 2-page spread in the Sentinels, who normally in the 616 universe hunt mutants, but in this created universe exclaims sapient targets identified.
Yeah, can I just say real quick that the amount of budget that it would take to get such glorious embossing on this armor, I don't think that's on
Sentinels.
That's not in the military budget. They're not paying for embossing. Come on.
Well,
that's the flat metal.
Well, and I said, one of the things they said, I mean, these Sentinels obviously have to be a Magneto creation, judging by the helmets and the color and the embossing. My question for both of you guys, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but WandaVision is supposed to introduce some form of mutants into the MCU. Now, who do you both think that the mutants could be that are going to be pivotal to WandaVision? Chris?
I thought you were going somewhere completely different with this question. So first off, I'm going to take this incredible opportunity to put my own headcanon into the world. I think that that piece of shit Woodrow, not Woodrow, that's Woodrow.
I'm what did I do?
No, who's the bastard military guy from WandaVision?
Oh,
Hayward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hayward, he might be making Sentinels. They might be making him the guy who's making Sentinels. Because what does he do? Sentient weapons. That's his whole thing. They were like, we launch in 12 hours or whatever. So I think that, what if he's launching Sentinels? They're going after the new mutants inside the, Sentinels hunting mutants. I don't know. I had something there. First mutants in are obviously Tommy and Billy, Flash and Speed, assuming
Wicked.
that they're not Wiccan and Speed, assuming that they're not figments of Wanda's imagination or Agatha's magic at this point. So hard to say who's next. I don't think it's going to be an X-Men. I think it's going to be more like a random assortment of background random characters, a lot of fan service.
Now, Woody, like, who do you think are going to show up for mutants in WandaVision, or who could show up?
I think it's like Xavier is going to show up for some reason. Like, if they're going to do anything, they need to have Xavier show up, because that's I don't know. There's so many different points of entry on this where that you can introduce the X-Men. If
they're going to go big is pretty much what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. I think we'll get our first real X-Men in Falcon and Winter Soldier. For now, I think we're getting teases of how mutants are being created. So I think maybe we'll see a character like Toad, who's in House of M, who's, like a classic X-Men villain. I think maybe we'll see someone with Toad powers and we'll be like, oh, it's fucking Toad. Yeah.
Me personally, I am kind of betting on a Doctor Strange cameo. I know he's not a mutant, but if they're going to bring anybody big into it, I think that's love Strange. But.
I think that's a finale move, dude. I honestly think that if I like fuck X-Men, I think that the biggest probability will be like Doctor Strange showing up so that they can tie this into the next movie. I mean, on a business you know what I mean? This is all a lead into Multiverse of Madness.
Well, and exactly. And we had a commercial the other day for the Nexus in WandaVision as well,
to talk about the Nexus though, that's a whole nother episode.
We got to.
We should just do a WandaVision shit talk episode.
All right.
I think we need to explain to the fans, if they don't understand what Nexus stuff is. We should explain that to people. If one of our things here is trying to explain what the fuck's going on in WandaVision, that Nexus thing was wild.
Yeah. Well, and there we go. Next week, we'll actually do a little segment on the Nexus. I'm totally down for that. So remember to like and subscribe and find out what the Nexus is next week. Anyway, back to our story. We have Cloak transporting as many heroes as he can to an empty Wilson Fisk's office in New York City. We learned earlier that Wilson Fisk is dead. And we have mentions of members who didn't make it, specifically A. Brown, who was a member of the Sons of Tiger. And we also have mention of Misty, who I assume is Misty Knight, who actually held the Captain America title at one point. Now, this is where shit gets fucking weird. So hold on and let's figure this out. Now, we have talk of Magneto's 3 children who make up the House of M. Now, Pietro and Wanda, but Lorna, and we're not talking like Lorna Doone and her sweet ass cookies, but like rather like Lorna Dane, aka Polaris. Now, Polaris first appeared in October 1968's issue of X-Men number 49. She was created by Arnold Drake and my personal favorite artist, Jim Steranko. She appeared as a member of the X-Men, finally in X-Men number 60 in 1969, remained a member of the team until just after the debut of the new X-Men and giant-sized X-Men. Polaris appeared as a supporting character for the team several years before joining a new incarceration of the X Factor team in X Factor number 70 in September of 91, remaining with that team until X Factor number 149 in September of 98. Now, Polaris powers, badass, all right? Electromagnetic spectrum manipulation. Did somebody say spectrum? Keep an eye on that. Flight and telekinesis. And yes, she is Magneto's daughter. Now, I told you this was confusing because not the Eric Lensher Magneto that is like the mainstream version of the character, but rather Max Eisenhart, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby for X-Men number 1. I told you it was fucking weird, but back to our story. Now, of course, it is shocking to say that Wanda would be the normal human child when Wolverine seems to think that she is the main antagonist of our story and a well-known mutant. The reason Luke Cage was, curious about Wolverine was because we had Layla Miller, who was created just for the House of M, and who came to Luke Cage, pretty much spitting the same story as Wolverine. Now, maybe you're aware that Logan cannot die, but unaware of how Wolverine can remember a past that never existed. Now, the answer will be revealed later in the show because trust me, Chris, and Woody are not high enough to fucking grasp that shit yet. So
I wanted to say something about
speed smoking now.
Little Layla and the 46664. I don't know. Are you going to be bringing that up?
Oh yeah, yep. Right. So, okay, remember the whole
64. That's my number.
So back in our story, we learned through Wolverine's learning that Layla Miller is indeed a mutant whose power seems to be remembering the 616 universe. Now, remember like 5 seconds ago, the whole Wolverine being able to remember what he doesn't remember thing? I hope you speed smoked because I'm high enough now. Because look at this right here has to be like the most important page and panels pertaining to the whole pre-House of M Wolverine. Now, originally, and after speaking with Chris earlier, I thought it was the whole adamantium bullets erase my memory. Ryan Reynolds is a shitty Deadpool Fox origin theory.
Oh, we don't talk about that, dude.
Turns out
times.
We were both wrong. Me and Chris were both wrong. You see, Scarlet Witch had given most people their hidden most desires so that they wouldn't question this new world. It just so happened that it backfired with Wolverine because his greatest desire was to remember his past. So knowing his past meant he would now remember the pre-altered Earth. Hence why Wolverine can remember. Fucking mind blown. Different opinion? Go ahead, leave it in the comments. P.S. Like Woody said, Layla's shirt of 4664. Yeah, remember that. So we know now why Wolverine and Layla both remember. Our story now, Charles Xavier missing. Wolverine goes to wake up one of the current X-Men heads, Emma Frost. Now, Woody, I know you had said you really weren't too familiar with Emma Frost.
I am now, dude. I thought about it, and I was like, so here's the thing, okay? Everybody back it on up, you know what I'm saying? So I got annoyed with the X-Men films, right? And I was like, I'm not wasting any more time, money, or energy on this shit. And that was after like 2, right? Like X-Men 2, I was like, this is garbage. And the only good thing about this is Wolverine. So I just kind of stopped watching them. But if I recall correctly, in one of the X-Men films that I maybe have like randomly watched, Emma Frost was in it, correct?
January Jones.
Okay. X-Men First Class, I believe. Yep.
Okay. A blank slate that is January Jones played Emma Frost.
Okay, I think that maybe is how I am only familiar with her.
And she did a terrible job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Everyone did. That movie was bad. They were all so bad.
I lost all faith in everything they were doing, especially after like Wolverine Origins. I was just like, dude, I'm done. I'm done with you. We're breaking up here. Here's your CD book. It was in my car.
Now, Woody, my question for you is that, like, now that you've gotten to know her through the comics a little bit better, like, do you like her as a character? Do you get her?
I think that seeing her take charge was very awesome. And she wasn't just like, she was, before this, I haven't really had any experience with her. So I definitely like the way she's like, all right, we're going to fuck this shit up. And she just like started figuring out that like Layla was able to do this shit and like helping her. And then, it was good to see her be a leader because I think that's what I didn't see before.
Gotcha. Well, as we,
because she's the fucking leader of the X-Men, right?
She is the leader.
So it's like she does way better than fucking Scott ever did, at least.
Yeah, fuck Scott Summers, right?
Fuck you, Scott Summers.
So as we, we're just talking about, we wrap up our issue four, we have Layla Miller, who has quote unquote woke Emma Frost. Now, Chris, I had to go back to issue 2 when Wolverine first woke and came to, and this was, oh my God, Xavier. So now when Emma Frost wakes, we've got like a very similar drawing. Now it looks to be like 3 clergy with perhaps a wheelchair friend in there. So my 2 questions is, 1, pretend you don't know. Do you think Charles Xavier is coming? Is this good foreshadowing? And do you think WandaVision took inspiration for this look for like a certain basement segment that aired on episode 7?
I didn't think of that. You might have thought I was being sarcastic there, but I did not think of that at all. That is a really, I mean, maybe they were just gothic and gothic. They went gothic in the basement, and this is obviously a very gothic, kind of looks like an Eastern European kind of church.
Yeah.
But to answer your other question, I immediately assume that the guy crying in the second panel down is Charles Xavier. That was It seemed too much like Smoking Gun. Like, we just talked about Charles Xavier. Here's Charles Xavier. It wouldn't be anyone else. So I assumed that. And the 3 people behind him, he looks scared in this, and he's crying. So I assume that he is being held some sort of prisoner kept.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, it's like I said, I had to go back to issue 2 when Wolverine woke to find out, to see the comparison in it, and that like first hit me. Now, you guys listening, what do you guys think? Is this a WandaVision inspiration? And is that Charles Xavier? Let me, Chris, and Woody know in the comments. Now, let's blaze like Ghost Rider into issue 5.
So is that Xavier Man?
I don't know. Oh, what do you mean?
Spider-Man Xavier Man?
Yes.
No, that's Peter Parker the wrestler. At least I assumed that was Peter Parker the wrestler, because he's kind of like bald and scarred up in this other universe, because he's like a wrestler and an actor and an action man and all that stuff.
Oh, I totally thought it was Professor Xavier being like, I can walk now.
And I'm Spider-Man.
I was bit
I'm
by
Spider-X.
I was bit by a spider, and now I can walk,
I actually thought it was the Vulture being like, I'll show you, young whippersnappers. I'll get into shape and I'll be Spider-Man.
I stole his costume.
And if you look at the eyes, they're kind of like wings there. I get that.
Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. But anyway, our issue 5 newsstand cover has, of course, Layla Miller with this exceptional variant by Mike McCain. I love the Spider-Man in the back. Who that is, let us know in the comments, But right off the get-go, we have a two-page spread of Emma Frost kind of explaining who she is, what mutants are, and what the inside of Layla Miller's fucking brain looks like.
I love this mind, dude. It's so cool.
It was so cool. And of course, as we're going through these next couple of pages, pretty much what they were was heroes waking up, who are affected by Wanda's magic. Fuck you, Scott Summers. I like to watch you puke. That makes me happy. So we'll just like skip to like Spider-Man's awakening. Now, this is how I felt. I want to see if you guys like back me up on this. Now, since Wanda gave everyone what they wanted most, like, who do you think had the most to lose by waking up? Mine is definitely like hands down Peter Parker. Because in this universe now, Peter Parker is married to Gwen Stacy, and the hardest part about this is not the fact that he was already married to Mary Jane, kind of like us 3, but the fact that Gwen Stacy was really Gwen Stacy was really one of the first comic book characters who died and stayed dead. This all happened with the Amazing Spider-Man issue 121 and the story arc of the night Gwen Stacy died. Written by Stan Lee, Gwen loses her life when Peter Parker is battling the Green Goblin. In this issue, Peter tries to save Gwen from falling, but in doing so, she's like, I got you, Gwen. But he snaps her neck like a fucking Slim Jim, you know? And I mean, this affected the comic book world, you know? Like I said before, like, heroes didn't die, but this wasn't the case for Gwen Stacy. I mean, hence why Peter is like taking it so hard. And especially this one panel here, you have Peter screaming, dead Uncle Ben and a dead Gwen Stacy are both nearby. I mean, who do you guys think, Wolverine or Peter Parker? Like, who had the most to lose from waking up?
Dude, can I just interject here and say that I think the most heartbreaking part about this is, as you said with Wolverine, right? Where like the Scarlet Witch's like transformation of reality was giving you what you wanted, right? So I think one of the biggest things that Peter has to deal with is as he wakes up later, right? Like he sees Mary Jane and he's kind of like, but am I really in love with you if you're not who I want? You know what I mean? Like I think that like
good point. Not even that. I mean? The flip side. He says, "Am I just with you?" You know. He says to Luke Cage also. He's like, "Is she really better off with me if she became a movie star who's super famous and she's super rich and has nothing to worry about? If that's what she really wanted and not me? Yeah. Why are we trying to fix the world so I can go back to be with someone who doesn't want me, really?" Yeah, he's like, you're not, don't worry about the fact that she's more successful when you're not around, kind of, and it's like, and honestly, that's gotta hurt, dude. Honestly, someday I'd love to like write a paper on the tragedies of Peter Parker, because he really is one of the most, in the comics, the movies have not gotten to really do the tragedy of Peter Parker justice yet, because everyone's just like, Uncle Ben dies, sad Peter gets powers. We just keep going through this over and over again. And there's so much depth to Peter Parker in the comics that doesn't get explored. And I really hope Tom Holland gets to do some of that. And I think that like one of the things that draws people to Spider-Man is the fact that he's so human underneath it all. Like more than any other superhero, Spider-Man, he's such, and I think that was Stan Lee when he made it. He always said like anyone can be Spider-Man, and I think that goes along with the storyline, with his costume, literally everything. Anyone can be Spider-Man. So I think that's why we're so drawn to his tragedy, because anyone can go through that. But Peter just is always taking the worst and still going and like not stopping. And I think that that's what a true hero really is. So
because Woody, because with great power comes great motherfucking responsibility, motherfucker. I will do snow to that line all day. So one of the only hard things is Wolverine. It was funny because pretty much in those panels telling Peter Parker like, suck it up, we're heroes, we got a job to do, but Kitty Pryde, Miss Marvel, Tony Stark, She-Hulk, Daredevil, and of course Doctor Strange. I'm gotta admit, I'm kind of a little disappointed on how weak Doctor Strange is in this so far, but maybe it has something to do with the last days of magic. Ha ha ha, stay tuned. The one person they decided not to wake is, of course, Captain America, Steve Rogers. He never took the super soldier serum and didn't become the Cap we all knew today. Now, Chris, what do you think? Like, if he got everything he wanted, was he able to go into the war? Like, did he marry?
They explore this in
Agent Carter.
No, in a revision of, not a revision, but a kind of a redoing of House of M in 2015, when they talk about some of those side characters that were in this universe that we never really got to explore as far, and they did an Old Man Cap series. of comics in 2015, and they are so fucking good. And I cannot recommend them enough to our readers after our viewers after they've read House of M to go explore that series because it's so wonderful.
The Captain America House of M like one-off,
Yeah.
So going through, like, we unfortunately we don't have a woke Captain America. We do have more members who are getting woke though, including Wolverine's Shield team, and we finally end our issue 5 at Genosha, where Lorna is informing Magneto guests are arriving for the big celebration. So he first must take a moment and see a monument that's dedicated to a dead Charles Xavier, which, like we said before, we kind of got that feeling that was him in the in the church. So is Charles Xavier dead? Let's stick around and find out. Chris, my question for you, the stories, how do you think the pace is going so far? Is it too fast, too slow? Like, what do you think of Brian Michael Bendis' writing at this point?
So my first time through the story, definitely, I thought this was way too fast. I had to read each issue very slowly, not because it wasn't laid out well, but because aside from this being a story of some familiar characters and some not so familiar, this is also a story that takes place in an alternate reality. So each of our characters we're getting to know for the first time to some degree, especially the ones that haven't been woken up yet. So for example, this Magnus is not the Magneto that we know that left off in the previous series where he died, where he was, very villainous and very ha 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 kind of villain.
Correct.
And what I was going to say is him standing here being sad before the memorial. I think the thing that tells us right away is that he thinks Xavier's dead at the very least, and we are privy to the information that he's not. So there's a lot going on, yes, but Brian Michael Bendis is still saying so much on a full page spread here. We're looking at, he's letting us know where Magneto's head is at as this character, this version of Magneto.
Absolutely. Great answer, man.
Where's Magneto's head at? Where's Magneto's head at?
Chris, I couldn't agree with you more. Chronic Book Club members, what do you guys think? Listening, leave a comment down below. And now let's make sure our bowls are packed, our J's are rolled, and our dabs dabbing as we
Timmy
head
with me.
Into issue 6. You've got Timmy with you? Oh, the bowl?
Timmy.
Okay, so that's the second time in the last 5 minutes that one of you had said something that I thought you said titty. You said kitty pride. I thought you said titty pride.
And then I thought
Woody, I thought you just said I've got titty.
Titty pride would be great for breast cancer awareness, like some sort of parade. Titty pride. Titty pride.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know what's going on with this week's episode, but between snow and titties and weed, we swear to God, it's only the Chronic Book Club. So here we go. House of M, issue 6. We start off with our very woke heroes and a very commanding Emma Frost. Leading the team, and it's pretty cool how they're telepathically hiding the team. Going through, we get a couple of name drops, i.e. Sebastian Shaw, Agent Sitwell, Garrison Kane, and the Brood. Emma informs Captain Grey Cow they are hijacking the helicarrier and going to Genosha for answers. I mean, not in so many words, but in his mind, that's what he heard. Back on Genosha.
Yeah. Quick question for
Victor Von Doom, dude. Sorry. Oh my God.
Quick question for you, Al. Who is a more powerful telepath, Emma Frost or Charles Xavier? Can you narrow that down? Is she on the Xavier level? Because her being able to shield everyone, like you were just talking about, that seems insanely powerful to me.
Chronic Book Club members agree with me. Hopefully, I would have to put it as Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Charles Xavier.
Okay, so Emma Frost is more powerful than Charles Xavier.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Back in our story, we're back at Genosha, waiting for, guests to start arriving for the big House of Magnus gala. Victor Von Doom, who everyone should know as the Marvel Universe's big baddie, one of them at least. Do you guys think we'll eventually get a Doctor Doom in the MCU? And who would you like to see play him? Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, look at that.
I got mine right there.
Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Would you just look at
it? So question, guys. Dr. Doom, are we going to get him in the MCU? Where do you think we'll get him, and who would you like to see play him? Chris?
Season finale of WandaVision. No, Black Panther 2. I think we'll see him in the post-credit scene of Black Panther 2, or maybe some mid-credit scene or something like that. Or maybe actually be a big-time villain. I think they're going to do Namor as the villain for the film, though. And I don't know. I keep hearing Giancarlo Esposito being run around as his for Doom, and I think he'd be great for Doom. But I'd like to do someone a little bit younger and a little less known, someone who's going to commit to the character entirely. Doom is my favorite villain of all time. I really demand someone who is worth everything that Doom can offer.
And you have to act behind a mask, so not Adam Driver.
Because he's beautiful.
I'm really mad about everything. I'm very upset about my grandfather.
Well, I'm thinking of... I'm like, I just hope they don't get Thomas, the guy who played Bane in Christopher Nolan's Batman, Tom Hardy. He's like, oh, I've got you now, Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he's got to be. It's Doom, dude. Like, whoever they cast for Doom.
It's also, Doom definitely would have an accent. Being Latveria, being in like the Eastern Bloc, so you need someone who can nail the accent without it being comical ever.
Yeah. And I definitely think they're going to bring in a Doctor Doom. I cannot wait to see Doctor Doom.
Look at that belt, dude. That belt is so. Imagine like rolling up to like a fucking club.
I've got the D.
Drinks on me. I got the D.
Is that shot from Doom War, Al?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
So, meanwhile, we're reading a story. Holy fuck, I'm high. Meanwhile,
huge Doom fucking annex there, dude.
Meanwhile, our issue 6, our heroes are on the way to Genosha, discussing who will lead. Fuck you, Scott Summers, and whether or not they can even put the world back the way it was. On Genosha itself, we have our guests of honors arriving, to include Dr. Doom, King T'Challa, the Black Panther, Storm from the X-Men representing Kenya, King Namor, the Submariner of Atlantis, and finally, one a lot of people might not be familiar with, but is Genis Vell from the Kree Empire. Now, why is he important? Well, he's kind of really not, but I just wanted to bring him up because he also once held the mantle of Photon. Now, WandaVision viewers, here's the secret. Photon is actually a hero who was once Monica Rambeau, aka Photon, so there's your, we saw her, show up this week with like the blue eyes and being able to like see the energy. So Photon, Spectrum, it's cool. We got another hero this past week, which I think is awesome.
We need a hero.
And I mean, it seems to be that's the direction that the MCU is taking WandaVision. I mean, that's cool.
Maybe she's the first mutant. Maybe they're retconning her character, that her going through the hex changed her biology, and she had the X gene, and it just took that for her to become the first mutant superhero. Maybe she'll be our first mutant superhero. And how cool would that be, right?
So how about this? What if everybody in Westview are actually mutants and they turn that place into like fucking Genosha? Like,
whoa!
dude, whoa! Speaking of Genosha, meanwhile, back
that
on
is,
Genosha.
hold on, wait.
Dude, we're reaching.
That is a Diesel theory, dude.
Oh, that's straight headcanon for me.
Oh,
that's what
my
I'm
God.
expecting. And then I'm expecting her to. Oh, I won't say that yet. No, I won't say that yet. That's for the last issue.
So one time, Chronic Book Club members, we were talking about comic books. I'm so high, I can't remember about what. Oh, Genosha. Back on Genosha, we have the complete House of Magnus, which seems to include 2 twin boys.
Twin
does
boys.
that sound familiar?
Twin boys.
We have this great panel showcasing the power of Magneto. A great 2-page spread. Can I say spread, Woody? Is that okay? A great 2-page spread of our heroes attacking. And another 2-page spread of the battle.
Wait. But She-Hulk was right there. I was like, wait, you just showed me She-Hulk again. What are you trying to do? Oh, shit. God damn you.
Well, now we know why it's called the 2-page
Yo, that's whole titty, dude. Joey, just for real. That's a whole ass titty, dude. It's like did someone rip off She-Hulk's right nipple in a fight at some point?
Yeah, it's like a pepperoni.
Or her titty is legit. Her titty has been halved. Her titty has been halved. It's just some of the titty. Where'd her nipple go? Who hurt you?
Well, Olivier Coifel, if you're listening, we really want to know, where did She-Hulk's titty go?
Where's your right nipple at?
Well, we have another 2-page spread. Do we see any non-nipples here? So another 2-page spread of the battle. Remember, our heroes believe that Magneto is controlling Wanda, hence why our heroes are attacking him. Back at Xavier's grave, Emma, Layla, and Cloak, who we talked about last cast, are investigating, and Cloak teleports himself to the coffin below and gives us our super dramatic issue 6 ending.
Look at those eyes, bro.
Xavier's not there. So is he still alive, or is he somewhere else? Yeah, Woody, you said it, those eyes, they kind of remembered there was this old show in like the early, I don't know, 2005 called Heroes, and there was a hero in that where their eyes would go blank like that. You know, it just looks cool.
Can we just say that that's what I want on my tombstone? She died so Genosha could live.
All right, yo, you got it.
All right.
Noted.
All right, potheads.
He died so Strange Creek could live.
Okay, potheads. Quick recap. Our heroes, for the most part, are no longer under the spell of Scarlet Witch. They're attacking Genosha and discovering Professor X is not dead underneath the memorial. So, guys, question time. What do you? I'll start with you first. Was, you know, you were last episode. You talked about, you know, how you liked more traditional art. So, what do you think of the art of Coipel now, going through these next issues, other than Nipple She-Hulk?
Oh yeah, right. Well, again, I'm a big sucker for ink, and I think that the inking on this is the most. Ink needs to be there for me.
From Tim Townsend, who did Doctor Strange: Way of the Weird, one of our personal favorites.
It's great on this, and I need that hand drawn aspect. Is always, whenever anything's too fucking glossy, it always just pisses me off. I need to have some grit in there. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you a question: are the images alone enough to tell the story? Like, is there clarity?
Yeah, I think that there's one point where they're all talking at once that got kind of convoluted for me, where I was like, "What is going on? I didn't know what's up." So, well, other than that, yeah, it reads really well. Again, what we talked about in the last episode that Chris brought up, it's very, they know what they're doing. They're handling a lot of different characters, so it's very, the way that's all laid out is pretty nice. But they know at the points to be like full page. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
which
"Here's
they
a
do
fucking full
quite often.
page." Yeah.
You know, which Coipel has done quite often in House of M. Now, Chris, on the writing side of things, you know, are there any gaps that Brian Michael Bendis could have filled in, or do we just like need to read all these one-offs from like the House of M, like up to where we are now? Like, do you think he's done a good job letting us know where we are?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's done a really. I've read this story a lot, and I think one of the best parts about Brian Michael Bendis is that he likes to use the alternate reality clause. He likes to create this wormhole get out of jail free card,
So
which some people
Belschnickel?
criticize him for, but I really enjoy. I really fucking do. Because it allows him to not fall privy to something that we discussed a lot a couple of weeks ago when we were doing Doctor Strange, where it's got to be really hard to hand off a whole universe to someone, multiple books, hundreds of characters, and be like, hey, there were 13 other writers doing this, and now it's just you. It's just you. You got to do all of it. So rather than do the giant retcon and restart the whole universe, he uses House of M as his retcon tool. So he tells a story that will eventually lead us into where how the Marvel universe, comic universe, will look after House of M. So I don't think you need to read a lot of the side stories to really appreciate what's going on here. And this is also a great jumping off point if you want to get into all of comics that come after House of M, because post House of M is where a lot of characters are getting repowered. It's a really great jumping off point for the new Marvel fan.
Yeah.
I also would like to take this very quick moment to say, I love that Brian Michael Bendis, with all these pages, all this time that he has, it's a limited amount of time, 8 issues. He still takes time to prove how much of a piece of shit Scott Summers is. He still takes a good 3 pages to let us know that Scott Summers is willing to command the attention of the room to remind everyone, we're going to have to kill people. We're going to have to do the things that we'd never do. And he's such a piece of shit.
And now you guys know why we say fuck Scott Summers.
Yo, I can't say though, one of my favorite toys when I was a kid, I had this fucking Cyclops thing that went on my head. It was when the cartoons were around, and you could push the side and it would go beep, beep, beep. Remember that shit?
Oh fuck, that's
you
dope.
remember that shit?
That is pretty dope.
Anyone else had one of those?
I had a one-eyed Cyclops I started playing with when I was like 13.
Hey.
Chris, as somebody who has read House of M multiple times, have you learned anything new reading up to this point?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen anything terribly new. One of the things that I didn't really think about was specifically, I had forgotten how much the Peter Parker story hurt and how that's like fucking seriously heavy. Amidst this entire giant catalog, the emotion that goes into that, and also Wolverine. I didn't realize how much of a leader he was playing as in the House of M universe. And I should have realized, how much of Wolverine becomes a pivotal character in the post House of M world and how he's kind of repowered. I didn't think of this as that jumping off point up until we were rereading it.
I can tell you one thing is one thing I have definitely noticed this time through reading it is how well of a job Coipel does, like, hiding hints throughout the whole comic. Like, there are, as far as like on the art side of things, there are, just these little clues that are left, like we said, like the inside the church when Xavier wakes up, just different things like that I've definitely, seen.
tells so much of the story with so few images. Seeing Xavier crying and 3 characters behind him was all you needed to know. Is that all you needed to know?
Scary.
There's a big bad behind the shadows, and they've got Professor X.
Yeah.
So he cannot give it to you. X cannot give it to you presently.
No, not up in here. Up in here. My question, Woody, is: has there been? We've talked a lot about how do House of M and WandaVision connect to each other. Is there any one big thing that has stood out to you throughout these 6 issues that is yes, that's WandaVision. Yes, that's WandaVision.
Well, this whole comic book was a real Rough Rider.
Hey!
I think the biggest thing would just be just showing you her power for me. I haven't really seen a lot of correlation. I mean, there's theory and yada yada, but I think that really the overlying thing that was carried from this is just the fact that you can kind of see the immense power and capabilities of Wanda. So I think that kind of explains in itself WandaVision a little more. The fact that it's okay, well, if she could do this, then a little town in New Jersey, that's nothing. You know what I mean? And how this all affects people and what they remember, what they don't remember. This is really all kind of the mechanics of it all are coming into play a little more. By reading this, you can kind of make connections in that way. But I definitely don't think that, I don't know, it's not gonna be exactly like it, But that's not gonna help. Fucking Magneto shows up or some shit. That's what I'm saying. How strong is she? How strong is Agatha? Yada yada. But we're gonna find all that out. I think that just this book in general.
To answer my own question, at this point in the comic, I'm thinking that the Scarlet Witch, full-powered, screws loose, is omnipotent. She could actually do anything. She could make reality cease to exist. I don't think Wanda Maximoff in the MCU is there yet, but I think they may try to bring her there in some sort of losing her mind, all powers losing control kind of thing. Which would be really fucking cool to see.
Especially if the kids get taken. I think that she's gonna. If the kids get taken, she's gonna be gonna be chaos going on. So.
Well, and what I was gonna say, just 2 things. One that I think of with WandaVision, like you said, is definitely the twins. I think that is a big part that we're going to see become a big part in the MCU.
Because again, it's the same thing where it's everyone's getting what they want the most, right? So if that's what she thought Vision, I guess really it's whatever Wanda wants, but that could all be crafted through the lens of Agatha. There's so many different.
Well,
Where's Vision? Where's Vision in all of this? We haven't seen Vision.
He's with Darcy, and that's the thing.
No, I mean in House of M, Vision didn't get pulled into the House of M universe, did he?
He's dead.
Oh, no. He's dead. That's right. He's still dead. He died in the previous story and disassembled.
Yes, Hawkeye. Yes,
that's right.
Vision, Hawkeye, and yeah.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did.
There we go. We have Chronic Book Club members, issues 4, 5, and 6. What has stood out to you guys the most so far? Remember, hit the subscribe, leave your comments below. Let us know if we were right, wrong, or just too fucking stoned to know what we're talking about. All right, now for next week, we will be reading House of M issue 7 and 8, as well as House of M Decimation the day after. Of course, everything we are reading are available on both Marvel Unlimited as well as Comixology, and both are available in the Google Play and Apple App Store. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button, comment underneath, or if you guys have any other questions or want to tell us how we rule or fucking suck, you can always email us too at thechronicbookclub@gmail.com. That's thechronicbookclub@gmail.com. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Join us as we read Chronics and smoke comics. And for the Chronic Book Club, Mr. Chris Jakes. Mike Wood.
Yeah, Chili Dog.
And I am Al Taylor. And until then, keep twisting papers, keep flipping papers.